Is it the Minnesota summer heating up the room? Or
Minnesota
is it from us
summer.
watching Descendants 2?
Two sweaty boys here.
Nah, it's just the summer. That's the only heat coming our way at a whole new pod, the podcast all about Disney Channel original movies. I am not yet sweaty, but soon to be probably quite sweaty, Lucas Melby.
And I am, I'm not quite there yet either, but in about an hour, I feel like we will.
Jacob's soaking wet, like the entire cast of Descendants 2.
I mean, you're not wrong, yes. Jacob Telejohn here.
Fuck it.
We'll
That's
do
what
it
I say
live.
about this movie.
Wow.
No, despite us not having watched the first Descendants that long ago, surprisingly, it didn't really stick in my mind. And it goes without saying that it did not stick in Jacob's mind. Nothing ever does.
Well, the big dragoon at the end of the movie. Did I like that?
Yeah, Jacob will try to lie to you and be like, I do remember that. But he asked me, did we like how the dragon was at the end of the movie?
We did. I mean, at least I liked it.
He did like it.
I did like it.
The church or whatever they were in, though, not good.
Lucas liked nothing of the first movie. Maybe he liked something.
I know, I'd say largely that is
nothing.
accurate.
So much hatred towards Kenny Ortega's masterpiece.
I think there was still... I don't know. I think I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars.
There were maybe some fun aspects to it.
This movie, I think, is like a minute shorter or something.
Wow, and you like shorter movies, so
this isn't a shorter movie.
already like this movie by default.
I mean, we got great whiplash coming off of Tangled, Before Ever After.
The below 1 hour movie.
60 plus minutes longer than that.
Yeah.
I mentioned in the last episode. It's also longer than Tangled.
Wow.
It's also longer than most of the Disney movies that these characters' parents are from.
Are there any DCOMs longer than the one we just watched?
I think High School Musical. There's a lot of within
2 hours.
None are 2 hours, but there's lots in the hour and 50-minute range.
Yeah.
One is maybe 1 minute longer.
Yes, and we're about there. I mean, it might as well be.
Yeah. No. You know what? Fuck it. Just make it a half hour long. Sure.
I mean,
kill me.
There are movies that are 3 hours.
Descendants 3 is the shortest, though, so look forward to that.
Yes.
Stepping out of my Greg Turkington role of just talking about the length of movies, I don't know. Let's just get into this one. I don't think we have too much to really say. Maybe some stuff can come up later in the episode, but this movie gets off to a more exciting start than our episode here.
Yeah, I mean, before the movie even begins, I feel like they're already in a music video, a Kenny Ortega High School Musical music video is being, shot.
Yeah, I was not prepared. I thought, not that we get it all the time with sequels, but we usually get like a little like, hey, this is what happened last time. But no,
a bit of
we're
a
just
recap.
immediately cutting to all of our favorite in quotations. Villain kids from the first movie, Mal, Dove Cameron.
And more than just the villain kids, too. I mean,
but immediately we get Mal, Carlos.
Yes.
So Mal, daughter of Maleficent, Carlos, son of Cruella de Vil, Evie, daughter of Evil Queen, and Jay, son of Jafar. And they are all around a cauldron with green witch's brew in it and a bunch of apples.
So you might dunk your head in the apples for Halloween parties.
And I think they were saying some kind of spell shit before the song started, but then they're like singing, and then it's just like hard cut, they're at school. It's like evil version of High School Musical 2's opening song. But we just are like, we don't get any like Mrs. Darbus like calling the end of the school year. It's just like, fuck it, let's be evil.
And that cauldron scene you're talking about, what was that, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds?
Something, maybe 15.
And it was like that right to the song, and they're already in song.
You know what, let's time it right now.
They're already in dance. They're already going. Like, this was maybe the most High School Musical-y vibes.
I mean, it is a school setting song, and they're just going around, and I believe it was choreographed by a dentist because it's just everybody eating apples. Which seems weird because while we do have Evie, daughter of the Evil Queen, the main character is Mal, who Maleficent doesn't do anything with apples. It's Snow White that does the apple thing.
Correct.
But I do think in the logo of all the Descendants, it has an apple there. It's just, I don't know, slightly mixed iconography, but
I mean, it all ties into the universe, right?
They're distributing these apples amongst all of the good people, and they're eating them, but like not going to sleep like Snow White or whatever. They're being evil. So this song is called, I think I forgot to put down the title. It's something in there. They're spelling out Wicked all the time, and it's just like, Wicked, that's a good musical. Is Kristen Chenoweth going to show up in this one? No, she doesn't. Not that I really love
Ways to be wicked.
Ways to be wicked.
We see them on like a chalkboard, and I'm like, oh, why does it just say icky? And then they add the W, and then they add the D, and then they just go into how all these people are wicked.
And my note for this, probably why I forgot to write down the title, is off-putting. I'm like, this is not getting off to the start I would like. This is like very, it's very much like similar style of like electronic dubstep, LMFAO style music to what kind of like
what you were saying too. Like it's like, oh, we should be very excited to see these people, but Lucas did not like the first movie. He's not excited to see all these people.
It was
right
also
away
like the clearest sign that with the Descendants movies, I am not the target audience, and if I can't find anybody that I like in these movies, obviously I'm going to struggle with the sequels.
Yeah,
so that's the tough thing. With, obviously, I like the first High School Musical, so there's characters I can latch onto in High School Musical 2, even if I didn't like that one a ton. With Teen Beach Movie, that one I didn't really have too many characters I liked going into Teen Beach 2, but I had enough, I think. Where this, I don't think I liked really. I liked Doug. And that was about the only character.
Doug is Dopey's son.
And Doug hardly had anything to do with in the first movie.
He's a bit in this movie much more. Not a
no,
lot,
I'd say he actually has
more.
less to do in this movie.
He's in it.
Sure, he's in it. He's got less to do than Lonnie, and Lonnie was hardly in the first movie.
Fair. But
I just found this song very abrasive, and it also was like, what the fuck is going on?
It is very overwhelming. It is, yes, like you said, it's all the good people that are singing about how awesome it is to be wicked, to be evil. Why are these good people singing about being bad? I mean, it's not just like the main characters that are singing. It's like 50 or 60 extras also.
I think we see Fairy Godmother singing.
Yeah.
She's shaking her ass.
Wow.
And then, of course, it's not a real, not a thing that happened.
It's a daydream.
We zoom out of Mal's eye.
And she's being interviewed by like 5 or 6, people.
With Ben, yes. Son of Belle and Beast, who were former king and queen, but now Ben is interim king, soon to be king.
He is him.
That came up in the first movie, and he has certain powers and authority bestowed upon him.
And Fairy Godmother, right, steps in and says something about no more questions. If you're here and you're part of the school, you're late to class, or if you're not from our school, you're trespassing, and then everybody just kind of disperses.
Yeah. So, unsurprisingly,
Mal is being overwhelmed. That's what we're getting out of this. Yeah. She's just overwhelmed with her duties as soon-to-be queen.
Yeah. So my notes, fairly sparse, but basic character motivations in this. Mal doesn't like all the attention she's getting, feels she's not fitting in Oradon. That's where the good people live. Missing, maybe feeling a little homesick for Isle of the Lost, yes. the prison island for all of the villains that has a barrier trapping them there.
We see that her hair color has changed from her purple to her like a blonde.
To show character growth or just change.
Or she's just trying to fit in.
And she's expressing her frustrations to her friends Carlos, Evie, and Jay. And Evie's kind of like, nah, it's all good. Don't you love Ben? Oradon's so great. And we see Mal using magic for lots of various things. And I don't really remember. I guess that in the first movie, there was the whole museum of like magic artifacts. Yeah. So like only Fairy Godmother could use magic, or they only use it on special circumstances, which makes Oradon seem like the lamest fucking place. Because we'll see that they got like 3D printers and shit to do essentially stuff that they could do with magic. So it's like, why would you want to go to this fucking preppy school in this bright, fluffy, happy land where you just got to use like earpieces to talk on your cell phone? It's all cell phones and 3D printers and computers and like the lamest stuff. It's like we're using these Disney characters and just putting them in our world in the most boring circumstances.
Just so they don't have to obviously use more special effects or, I don't know, just to kind of, just an excuse to maybe.
It's just to put them in a school setting, but they're like, I don't know. How could you do a magical school? Nobody's done that. Nobody's done that in an interesting way. We have nothing to rip off, right? No. Well, yeah, what I'm trying to say is they could do some kind of Harry Potter bullshit here.
Oh, my.
But no, they just have it be like in a normal school, but everything looks like shit.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say that the Isle of the Lost doesn't look like shit. Something me and Jacob maybe will disagree on. I don't know how much time it took. It felt a little exhaustive of reestablishing all of our characters. So we have our main villain crew, but then we also had Ben, who we mentioned. But then we have Chad Charming.
Chad Charming of
who we got kind of front-loaded in this movie, so I thought was going to be a bigger deal, but he ultimately was as important as he was in the first movie.
He almost feels like a villain, but he's not. He's
100%. He's far more villainous than some of the villains.
Yes. He's just kind of he's jockey vibes, I guess, or I don't know.
I mean, his name's Chad.
Yeah, he is a Chad.
You fill in the rest. We've got Doug, of course.
Dopey's
son of Dopey and somebody.
Snow
who
White.
fucked Dopey.
Snow White.
The greatest mystery.
True.
And then Lonnie, daughter of Mulan, who ends up featuring a little more in this one, but still not a ton. My note just says, so much that I don't care about. So the first movie we had weird, like, American Gladiator lacrosse or something.
The sport, yeah.
But in this one, they just have, like, fencing, but with sabers instead of fencing. What do you call those? You know,
fencing
they were like swords, cutlasses that have, like, side blades. And
we know what
just,
you
like,
mean.
Pointing, fencing. I think they're called fencing
like
sabers.
The little tips on the end.
That's
those
why
ball
I kind of
tips on the end.
confused myself. Lonnie wants to join the team, but she is a girl.
Yes, they clearly state, only men are allowed on our team. We must follow the rules.
Or golden
men.
retrievers, but not girls. Carlos is, I think this was maybe established a bit in the first one. He's crushing on Jane.
R.I.P.
Daughter, R.I.P.
Cameron Boyz.
Carlos, not Jane.
Jane is the daughter of the fairy godmother.
And we don't really need to say R.I.P. in all of these movies, because in this one, he's still alive.
He's still alive.
And he'll still be in the third movie. So, well, bring it up again, because Jacob likes to get, like, the emotional points.
Yeah.
He really cares about this character that he couldn't even remember who her mother was. And he's like, did I see the first movie?
Did I?
Did I fall asleep during Phineas and Ferb?
Never remember.
So he can't speak his mind. He can't get the words out when he talks to Jane.
He needs some kind of gummies or something.
Well, he wants a truth potion.
Yes.
But because this movie is so lame, Mal just makes him a truth, like, gusher. She's like, it's got all the potion. It's just, like, bite-sized.
It's a gummy. He's basically taking drugs. Okay, so.
But he drops it, and I believe Carlos did have a dog in the first movie. I don't know if it was name dropped as being Dude the dog.
I don't know if it was this dog. Yeah, I don't remember that.
But the dog eats it, and it is justified that it is, since it's, you gotta speak the truth, that it is now able to talk.
Yeah, it's literally a talking dog, and he's like,
a talking dog?
Like,
it's voiced by Bobby Moynihan.
So who is that?
He's an SNL guy. If you looked him up, you would recognize him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's really been in, I don't think he's had a huge career post SNL. I also saw he voiced a dog in Secret Life of Pets, so maybe he's just into, like, voicing dogs.
Casting to dogs, yeah. But basically his funny bit is, scratch my butt. I see you scratch your butt.
Yeah, it's funny,
haha.
Very generous. And ultimately, he doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean...
There's one part that it pays off on, but then that is immediately just negated anyways.
The dog's in it maybe more than Doug is, okay?
No, the dog is in it more than Doug is.
Yes.
And that's a damning condemnation of this movie. Enter a villain who we didn't really have in the first movie. I guess we kind of had Maleficent. But Uma is daughter of Ursula.
What's my name?
She is at Ursula's Fish and Chips, which the sign has the styling of Ursula's cartoon version.
I thought that was a fun little line. It's an Easter egg or whatever you call it, or homage.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know.
It's a thing I know, and it reminds me of a better movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's well-timed for us to be talking about this movie where Ursula's daughter is involved.
The Little Mermaid just came out last week.
What if they made Ursula black? Do you think people would have gotten mad about that? Well, they already did.
They did.
Kind of. In Descendants too, because this is the scene. I knew that Whoopi Goldberg was supposed to play Ursula, but apparently she doesn't. She voices Ursula off screen.
One line.
To say, like, hey, Uma, help me with the dishes.
That's literally all she says. And I Googled, because we're like, is this the only Whoopi Goldberg sings? I was like, Luke is like, they have to have more than this. And it wasn't. It was Kenny Ortega on The View saying, oh, we're so excited to have Whoopi Goldberg in our movie.
This was 2017. Whoopi was only doing The View. Like,
Yeah.
she easily could have gotten in costume or something.
That was pretty sad.
We didn't watch, like, the credits, like, super closely.
Maybe there was
I don't
a scene,
feel like she was credited, so maybe it's like a cool
Easter egg.
Yeah, you know.
Nobody would have recognized her voice, though.
We didn't. And I was
No.
like, wait, was that Whoopi? And
I was
like, well, it makes sense when we see her, but then we don't see her.
Nah, that was pretty poor.
But
poor
we see
use.
Uma, who is her daughter,
Yes.
but she's just a human.
Yeah, I was surprised. Spoiler alert, she does go in the water at one point.
But, yeah, true. And she's the leader of a pirate gang. So it even feels more like just like Pirates of the Caribbean. But then it's like, well, Jack Sparrow's not... She could be Jack Sparrow's daughter.
I suppose. Davy Jones' daughter.
It's like Pirates and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Davy Jones' daughter.
True.
Yeah.
But how would they go about that, you know? Very good special effects with Davy Jones. Not the best special effects in Descendants, too. And she is a part of her gang that she leads is...
Harry Hook.
Of course, son of Captain Hook.
Yes.
Which apparently Captain Hook's surname is Hook.
And Gilbert, Gil.
Yeah, Gil, son of Gaston.
Yeah.
Notable pirate.
He always has his hat on, and he has a lot of eye makeup, and he has an interesting accent.
Harry
British.
Hook.
Or Harry Hook, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Gil is more just kind of, he literally goes, hey, you guys, at one point.
Quite honestly, Gil should just be like the son of Mr. Smee. It doesn't add anything for him to be the son of Gaston.
No.
It's more just confusing. But maybe they're like, hey, we're fine with Dopey fucking Mr. Smee. He does not fuck.
Mr.
We're not
Smee
we're not
never-
going down that road.
No.
We're not, being generous to the villains. And Jacob teased it a little bit ago. Uma has a villain song or introductory song.
What's my name? Uma.
Yeah. In case you weren't clear, and Jacob's like, who is this? Oh, it's Uma. And we'll learn because the song tells us many times.
Spoiler alert, I kind of looked up some of the cast names beforehand because I noticed that the letters of all of the children's are the same letters as their parents. See Uma, her mother's Ursula. See Ben, her father's and mother are Belle and Beast. And you can do that with all the characters.
Except Lonnie.
Yeah. Mulani.
And Jane.
Yeah, that one doesn't work.
Haha.
Got me.
This song, it's fine. Yeah, as Jacob was saying, there's the backbeat is kind of just her crew chanting Uma.
And they were doing, like the Hawaiian or Samoan whatever.
We say Samoan
dance.
Based on wrestlers who do similar. If you remember in Zendaya's film Zapped, the dancing they do at the end of that movie is kind of what they're doing
Samoan
here.
dance, slapping their legs and
So
stuff.
according to the Descendants, Samoans, villains. Yeah, this is maybe a little bit more hip-hoppy than like the first song.
Aren't kind of all the evil songs in here kind of hip-hoppy?
Well,
rappy.
This is kind of like the only one, and then we get like another one, but that's sort of split
Rap
with
battle.
the villains too.
Yeah, or the good people, you mean, or with the heroes.
Yes. The good villains.
Yeah.
Again, the morality of these movies, very weird.
Good villains.
And it seems in the third one might only get weirder. Ben and Mal go and have a date in a nice gazebo, and Mal's like, look at all these great baked goods I made. Here's some bread and some cookies. And Ben's like, wow, you made all of this? How did you do it so quickly? And she's like, I'm just that good. And
what's my name?
Something happens where she's just like, actually, I've been using magic. And Ben's like, you fucking lying bitch. And he gets really mad, and he's like, I don't know if it's purely because of her using magic, but maybe also just like that she lied to him.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I don't fit in here. I don't belong. I'm a baddie. You are goodie.
She's a baddie.
And he's like, do you think trying to be the king, learning about being the king is easy? I'm like, oh my God, Disney Channel.
Yeah.
You always try to make us think like being rich is hard. Being the king is hard.
Yeah, I don't know why Ben
lived
had
on
to
the frickin' prison island where
literally like
everybody's poor.
Alcatraz. Literally Alcatraz. So yeah, so then she goes through this whole thing of this is fake, this whole meal is fake.
Including her hair. So she doesn't actually have blonde hair. It's just magic purple hair.
Yeah, but we don't see it turn purple till she returns to the Isle of...
I think that's right.
But yes, but her meal was fake, and they were eating all this great food, but really it was just a peanut butter sandwich and milk, which Lucas loves.
Yeah. If you want to,
just a fun Lucas
if you want to
fact.
show up to a gazebo
Lucas
date with me,
loves
and
milk.
be like, I made this, and I'll be like, Sick. So earlier, Mal had received a scooter from Ben, which only matters here because she uses her spellbook and the scooter to skip across the ocean to the Isle of the Lost and breaks through the barrier, I guess.
Because Ben must be the only one that can open it with a bridge. Or maybe it's Fairy Godmother's wand that does that.
You didn't see, since this is an audio podcast, you didn't see me just shrug.
Who knows?
Which I did throughout a lot of the movie because, the functioning of like who can go back and forth between the location.
See, Uma, we don't know. There's several times where we were questioning that.
And then Ben learns about this. He's in his king office and he has a Bluetooth earpiece on. And I'm like, This is so fucking lame. We should not see any of these characters interfacing with fucking smartphones.
Technology.
And Bluetooth hand-free headsets.
Yeah, a little different.
And he takes it off. He's like, hey, Evie, what's up? And she's like, Mal's gone back to the Isle of the Lost. Oh no, how could she? You have to help me get her back. So then Evie and Ben meet up with Carlos and Jay, and they all get into the magic limo from the first movie, and they go to the not land of the Lost, the Isle of the Lost.
Doesn't Mulani or whatever join Lonnie?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That's when they go back to Oregon in an unseen way that we don't know how
we don't know how that happens.
So Mal, she like rolls through and like almost kills somebody on her scooter, and everybody's like, ooh, who is she? And it's like, you all know who she is, but she's walking around like she's all cool.
What's my name? No. Mal. No, it doesn't happen.
There's, for some reason, posters for like
the king and the queen, her and Ben.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a coronation or the cotillion dance.
Yes, they're having the cotillion, but how did they get posted there?
Yeah, like, is Oregon so out of touch? They're like, the villains would love to see this. Let's give them the posters. Basically, the posters only seem to exist for then people to vandalize them.
So they draw like, eye patch on Ben and,
They just, I think it's mostly just like X's. They're like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not even like, if you put devil horns on them, it's just like, well, yeah, that'd be cool then, because you're villains. You would like the devil horns.
That is true.
Put it like a halo over his head.
Good point.
But she tears one down. Be like, ugh, I hate Oregon.
Yeah.
And then she rolls up to Tremaine's or Lady Tremaine's barbershop, salon, or whatever, where we meet one of the deepest cut possible characters. Dizzy, who is the daughter of, I think, Drusilla
Tremaine.
Who is
the granddaughter of Lady Tremaine.
Yes, so Lady Tremaine is the evil stepmother from Cinderella.
Yes.
And that means that one of the evil daughters of the evil stepmother is Dizzy's mother.
Yes.
But Dizzy is quite possibly the nicest villain.
Yeah. She does seem very kind. She welcomes Mal immediately and offers her basically right away to redo her hair. And this is where we see the purple come back.
But in the first movie, I think she had a bit more of like curls, but this time they're completely straight.
Yeah.
But then Harry Hook
robs
pops
her
in and like takes her money.
Takes her money, yeah. Mal pays her. She's like, oh, this is all for me. Yeah, keep it. And then, Harry comes in, give me all your money.
And Harry Hook has some weird accent, and I do believe it's because the actor's like Scottish or something. So Captain Hook has a weird accent, but this just seems maybe that like the guy's just a bad actor. So that's just how he sounds.
Yes, he was born in the Edinburgh, Scotland, United Kingdom.
And then there's a bit of a confrontation between Mal and Harry that she's chewing gum and she like sticks it on his hook.
And then he picks it
But
up.
it's a hook that he just holds.
Yeah.
It's not an actual...
His hand is
he
not
has
actually
both
cut off.
hands.
Yes. It's just like an aesthetic looking...
Which during...
They don't try to hide it. They're not like, oh, look at this guy.
Well, earlier in Say My Name, I was like, it looks like he's just holding a hook. Yeah. But then other times he's able to put his hand underneath the covering. Yeah. So it was hard for me to tell. It's like, is this movie just really bad?
No, well,
he doesn't actually have a hook.
Later on, they do joke on it because somebody takes his hook from him and
it just doesn't make any sense. Why would he have a hook?
Because it's not like his papa who got his hand chopped off.
Yeah, the defining traumatic event in Captain Hook's life that he's so afraid of the crocodile that took his hand.
Yes.
So then Harry just fucks about with the fucking hook.
Harry does have a pocket watch that ticks throughout the movie.
I didn't catch that.
Shout out Captain Hook, who doesn't like watches and clocks.
Well, it's because of the
crocodile swallowed one.
Yes.
Yes.
And he fucking leaves. So then Mal's kind of alerted to Uma knowing she's there or something.
Yeah.
Because Uma and them have beef, even though it's not established until this movie. I don't care. That's allowed.
Who cares?
New characters can be introduced.
Yeah.
So then Ben and the other villain kids arrive, and they have to like hide their limo in just some fucking warehouse. And Ben has a very goofy... I mean, all of the characters dress extremely goofy. Most of the boys seem to wear, like, BMX biker jackets. Very weird. And Ben has one, and he got, like, a beanie on. And
specifically Carlos. Like, Carlos is, like, literally wearing, like, a BMX, like that Fox brand or whatever it is.
Like Cruella de Vil. Notable BMX biker.
And I was surprised Carlos doesn't have, like, a black streak in his hair. His hair is just white. I feel like he should have had a black
He's got black
streak
underneath it.
Yeah. Sure.
It's already weird enough that they freaking went with Cruella de Vil as one of the villains.
That's a good point.
And then we get... so they're trying to be like, hey, Ben, you're really standing out. You got to really learn to fit in here. And we get the peak of probably the entire Descendants series. I'm probably just going to call that now for Descendants 3, is the song Chillin' Like a Villain.
This song is great.
It includes all of the characters, but it's primarily an Evie-led song.
Because I'm chillin' like a villain.
And it's very, I'd say, disco or like
good.
funk-inspired. And I don't even really know if it would have been... maybe it was taking inspiration from like fucking Meghan Trainor at the time or something. But it feels like in 2017, it was fairly unique. And it was just like, oh, I'm just floating right now. I'm enjoying this song so much.
I mean, it was really good. We both like it. This might be one of the only things Lucas liked the movie.
But then it immediately goes to waste because Gil, son of Gaston...
Hey, aren't you the guy in the poster? They're showing a poster of that coronation or whatever.
Which is a cartoon version of Ben. It's not even really him.
Is that you? You're him? You're Ben? The King Ben? Oh, you're Mal, or not Mal. He lists all the other people that are, you're Jay and you're...
Okay, he just recognizes him.
Yes,
okay.
all of them. Well, no, he recognizes Carlos and Evie and Jay also. He says their names.
Okay, well, that's not of importance.
No, but he knows what's going on.
Again, why do they have these posters here? It's only so that somebody could recognize them. Could have shown like a TV in the background because him and Mal have been all of the news coverage. We've seen them on the TV already multiple times.
They visited Aladdin and Jasmine for some reason.
And they've established that even if Isle of the Lost is a complete shithole, they do have televisions there.
Yes.
But no, it's just because of the dumb fucking posters. So then Ben meets up with Mal in their like cool hangout spot where you have to throw a rock at a sign that says "Don't throw rocks," which doesn't seem like would be that good of a cover because everybody's villains here. So everybody's like, I'm not going to obey your fucking rules.
True. That's a good point.
And it only just lifts up like a door to get onto a fire escape that you probably could just like jump over.
Nothing too crazy.
And Ben's like, come back, Mal. And she's like, no, I'm home. He says, yeah, come home. No, I am home.
Yeah.
And he comes out with some ring.
She's like,
maybe from the first movie. Like at the end.
Yeah, like he must have proposed to her or something. I don't know.
Or
she's
maybe
wearing
it's
the
like
ring.
A promise ring or purity ring.
Purity
he says,
ring.
I love you. And she's like, I can't. I'm too evil.
Yeah.
It's like, you fucking turned your mom into a lizard. I think that kind of established your good cred. But she's too conflicted, and ultimately Ben leaves.
Yeah, he leaves, and they go down there and like, where's Mal at? Oh, she's up there spray painting the wall, and
he's immediately kidnapped.
Yeah. Yeah, he starts walking away down the aisle, and they're like, where'd you go, Ben? And then Harry comes walking back, and like,
well, because like the villain kids are like, oh, what do we do? And they turn, where's Ben? And then Harry Hook just is like, oi, Gibner, I'm a fucking creep. Oi, I take Benny.
Great impersonation there, Lucas.
Yep, I know.
You're just awesome.
So then Evie, Carlos, and Jay, they go up and tell Mal. She says, I'll go talk to Uma, but I'm going by myself for some reason.
Nobody knows why.
So then they go to Ursula's, or she goes to Ursula's Fish and Chips, and like her and Uma, they're like, hey, I fucking hate you. Well, I fucking hate you too. And then they decide, like, we'll decide this over an arm wrestling contest. But then it's like
she cheats? Yeah.
Well, Uma doesn't say what she gets if she wins until they're already arm wrestling.
Yeah.
So then it's treated as like a dramatic reveal that she says, I want fairy godmother's wand, and then she beats Mal, even though she's using like her scary villain eye power.
She's definitely cheating here.
Yeah, it's very stupid. So then they have to go back to Auradon to get fairy godmother's wand to then make an exchange for Ben. But what they use, that magical 3D printing technology.
Of course.
So Jay and Carlos, there's a little side bit where Chad Charming's trying to make an action figure of himself to send to fucking...
He doesn't get the head on it, though, so it's a headless. You're like, I think it's a better version of you.
Yep.
What a dig.
But Lonnie overhears Jay and Carlos talking, saying that Ben's been kidnapped.
I think the dog's here talking too again.
He's always talking.
He's always talking.
And
scratch my butt.
They do animate his mouth, but it doesn't look great.
It could be worse.
It could be. But it
could be they're not at all. I mean, they should have not used it at all.
But it's just like, why couldn't they just use the spell book to make a magic wand? It's just like the lame drop in 3D printing. It's like, that would have been like cutting edge in 2017, but it's just like, this is as Jacob would say, this is a magical movie. You shouldn't utter the words magical 3D printer in a magical movie.
I mean, it is a big printer. I guess I've never seen one in person. I mean, it's like a tall, I don't know.
Well, it has to be at least for the movie tall enough to fit the wand.
Yeah.
So that's more of the influence of how tall it is.
That is a good point. I didn't think about that.
Then Evie and Mal, they stay in the Isle of the Lost to make smoke bombs out of rubber gloves at Dizzy's place. And Dizzy's like, I love you guys so much. I wish I could go to Auradon. Sorry, Dizzy. You're apparently the worst person alive. You have to rot in this shithole for the rest of your life. Them's the rules. Sorry. Don't worry. It has a happy ending.
Always happy.
And then Evie and Mal. Evie's like, don't you want to come back to Auradon? Nah, I'm at home here. I'm Mal. I'm evil. But you, Evie, you belong there. You're a queen. Slay queen.
Slay queen.
And we get another pretty good song of a duet called Space Between, about Mal saying, I'll be in the Isle of the Lost. You'll be in Auradon, but we can meet in the space between. And it's not gay at all.
Yeah, it's very gay. Speaking of Pride Month, it is a very like holding hands and like looking deep into one another's eyes. And there's actual like
romantic or there's tension between them that is not present with Mal and Ben at all, including in the first movie.
Very sensual.
So I know that is a popular thing that I think I saw with Descendants 1 with the actress who played Evie, but then that actress, I think Sophia Carson, was also in Adventures in Babysitting, and they try to push that narrative a bit. I can't remember where I landed on that, but definitely strong. I think it's sapphic. That's a term.
So I've never heard of that word before.
I think that's kind of like, that lesbian stuff.
I'll have to give that a Google.
Fact check me in the comments, I guess.
Yeah.
But good song. I liked it. So kind of two good back-to-back songs. Everything's downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here.
So then they get to the confrontation. They're able to successfully 3D print the wand. Oh, I was really worried about that. And as they're I think they're going back to get into the limo. So they must have taken the limo, which we learn has a special remote in it that they can use. So that's how they can use it without Ben.
Yes, to make the bridge, the golden bridge or whatever.
Seal, perfect movie. Everything checks out here.
There's also a lot of candy, remember, in this limo.
But this is where Lonnie confronts them and says, like, here, I've got a bunch of swords. You should take me with you.
Yes, because she is, I don't know if you said she was eavesdropping. Yes.
I can't remember how she forces them, but they're like, fuck. I guess Lonnie can come.
Yeah.
And then they confront Uma, who has been tied to the mast of a pirate ship.
Yeah.
That looks very uninteresting because it's just all unstained wood.
And
it's just basic-ass wood.
That I will agree with you. The ship could have used more color. Yeah, it could have been stained.
Arguably, parts of this movie has too much color. And this is one time where they don't have enough color.
Yeah.
And there's also the question of, like, why are there ships on the Isle of the Lost if they're prevented from going off of it? Is there like the barrier goes a little bit off into the water, so then people can still go into the water, but they just can't go out too far? I believe there was something in the first movie that Mal doesn't know how to swim because she's on the Isle of the Lost.
Oh yeah,
but then there's water access.
I do remember that.
I don't really know how to swim either, and I had access to water, so it doesn't necessarily negate her inability to swim. But she could have swam if she wanted, I guess. It's very stupid. Sorry, that's just me talking about the movie overall.
You're just projecting all of your thoughts and opinions on this film.
Uma's motivation is basically she's jealous and mad that Ben didn't pick her.
Yeah.
Which, quite honestly, in the grand pantheon of Disney villains, Ursula ranks a lot higher than Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, you think? Yeah.
What do you mean you think?
Yeah. I agree.
That you'd even entertain the idea that Cruella de Vil ranks higher than Ursula. Maybe not, now in our new age of post-Cruella, Emma Stone, girl boss.
Oh.
But even then, it's like, well, she's not actually a villain in that one, right? She's just a cool girl boss. So they do like a wand Ben handoff, but then like Ben hangs around and they all like, so what they do to is like, well, how do I know this wand isn't fake? I'll do a spell. So Mal pretends to make the dog talk. Yes. And then the dog talks and they're like, shit, the wand works. So then they hang around for then Uma to try to use the wand. And then she's like, oh shit, it doesn't work. And then she breaks it. And they're all there. And it's like, why didn't you fucking leave?
Yeah, I mean, and the way that they can escape is the same way they got here, through some random metal drainage tube.
And actually, I think I'm getting ahead of, before they test the wand, they have a big choreographed face-off.
Yes, there's two big dances here, aren't there?
Rap battle.
Yes. Epic rap battle of history. It's like the exact same vibe. If you've ever seen an epic rap battles of history video, they used to be really big in like early 2010s.
Or if you've seen Let It Shine.
Sure.
The Disney Channel original movie that has rap battles.
Like, and it's like, the two evil, or like, I mean, not evil, but a good and the bad going back and forth with just really cheesy lines.
So this is called It's Going Down.
Yeah.
And
I'm yelling timber.
There's a lot of choreography.
That
I would say is quite bad. It's a lot of like the pirate crew just like hitting their swords on the ground.
Well, they're
and
like
a lot of it's shot in a
and
way
stuff,
that you can't even see them. Like they're blocked by like the railing on the ship, or they're just not framed well, that even if the choreography was good, which it doesn't seem to actually be good, it's just filmed so poorly that you can't even see.
There is a lot of it going on though, okay?
So we've got this whole thing, which is probably 4 or 5 minutes long. Then we have the wand handoff.
With the silly dog, like you mentioned.
Then they don't leave. And then there's like a 4 or 5 minute sword fight confrontation when they find out the wand is fake. And it's like, if this was a good musical, they would have crossed over the fight
and
with the song.
It's like they were like, I don't know. I mean, like,
and then there even starts to be a bit of a callback to either
Uma.
Yeah, I think it might be What's My Name?
What's my name?
It's Heisenberg. You're goddamn right.
Wow.
Or it's a callback to the song they just used. And it's not like the sword fighting is great. It's just like, this is how you get an hour and 55 fucking minute long movie. Just not efficiency of plot. And not creativity with using... That's why, like, I was hoping the first movie, because I'd heard the first movie wasn't originally, like, planned to be a musical, and they kind of just tacked it on to, hope to get, like, album sales and popularity that way.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, well, maybe going to the second one, they'll really make more good on the musical nature of it. And it's like, nah, it's still the same old fucking bullshit. High School Musical... This would have been a fucking song in like during a basketball game or something. They would combine the two. They're not just going to make us watch a normal ass basketball game. That's stupid.
But, I did like the set is massive though. I'm gonna throw
and half of it is a shitty looking pirate ship.
The set is massive. There's like 50 people, maybe even more that are kind of.
I would be impressed if I saw this at a Renaissance festival, not in a Disney Channel original movie.
Fair enough.
And I think I've seen better looking pirate ships at the Minnesota, or, like a pirate ship set at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. And then it all ends like going to like a pipe, and then they like knock down a bridge leading to the pipe, and the villains are like, shit, we can't get them. And then Uma's like, what's my name? And
Uma.
I'm just like, oh my God.
So then they run through the pipe, and then there's a homeless man just sitting in a corner smoking a crack pipe. Something. I don't know what he was doing.
He was like getting gas or something in there. That's the thing is like sometimes we have like actually adults in these scenarios and not like the teens or whatever. And it just feels weird. And then I also am like, well, who are all these other side characters that aren't named? Are they like children of side villains?
Probably.
Like, Gaston's mates some of the pirate crew looks stylized to be more like the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
In Peter Pan, which is just the Lost Boys aren't villains.
Like you said earlier, why is Gil pirate? But I mean, I guess it's kind of how the whole island is, right? There's all. Well, maybe they're not.
I mean,
all
none of our
pirates,
other characters are pirates.
Well, I mean, they're good now, right? They're not pirates anymore.
Yeah, but they weren't pirates in the first one.
Yeah, I don't know.
We already said they look like bikers.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose that. Doesn't make too much sense.
It doesn't. I mean, they are like, well, can we just have 2 villains who are pirates? And honestly, yeah, they probably should have. It doesn't make sense to add Gil in there, and he doesn't do anything. And I like Gaston, and Gaston's son should be more of a shit than he is in this. He's just like, he's more like LeFou, the dumb character.
Yeah, Gaston doesn't really give any kind of like I don't know, or
and
Gil.
this would have been pre LeFou being gay for Gaston in the live action Disney movie. So
Gil doesn't really seem too. Like, he's not playing into, like, a muscular kind of, role or, like a charm, a handsome, charming role. He's just, like you said, he's goofy, which he isn't in the movie,
yeah. So that it's not a dangling plot thread. Carlos shoots what we presume are the rubber gloves to create some, like, smoke effects during this fight.
What's my name?
But it's not even, like, real smoke. It's, like, CG smoke. And somebody falls in the water a couple of times, and it's not, like, real water. It's, like, CG water.
Yeah,
so much about this just looks cheap and bad.
For those falls, it could have included that one famous scream or the yell.
I think I said something along the lines of this in our first review of Descendants 1, where I said, like, the characters are dressed like the toy versions of themselves.
Oh.
This scene feels like, and I think they probably do maybe have, like, Descendants shows, or maybe they used to at Disneyland. This feels like a Disneyland
one of the
show
yeah.
of Descendants, not like what you'd want in the actual movie. It just feels cheap.
Yeah.
They get to the limo, but Mal somehow dropped her spell book outside of the limo.
And the homeless man picks it up. No, we don't see who gets the book.
The handling, like, what happens with the spell book is very bad.
It's very vague. I don't know. I feel
there's
like
not a lot of dramatic tension for it. It's just like something happens later where, spoiler alert, Uma had the spell book.
Yes. But
we don't really see her do anything.
They should have showed them chasing them, and her probably picking it up, and kind of, like.
Yeah. I'll bring up some more about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
They get to Auradon, and it's like the Night at the Cotillion dance, which I think is the same dance that has popped up in maybe Cowbells and some others, which is interesting that they have it in Auradon. I guess something not magical. It's just like, it's just like a rich person thing,
Yeah.
We're the good guys, right? Jane is like, you guys got this special stained glass window that Ben's been making. Gotta get your dress ready, blah, blah, blah. And Mal's like so emo. She's like, I don't fit in. Oh, I'm gonna huddle up with all my villain friends and cry. And I'm just like, where's another song?
Because they were having a girl talk, right? They needed a girl moment. Jay and
well, yeah, Jay
Carlos
says, I'm missing out on girl talk. And Jay's like, I don't care. I wish I wasn't in this movie.
Basically.
Somewhere here, Jay says, hey, Lonnie, you're the captain of our team. That's how we can get around the rule book. Haha, take that, Chad Charming.
And then they make her wear pink, and now she's like basically giving them orders,
we don't need any more.
Drop and give me 10. And then she like presses on Chad Charming's back, like, get lower, get on the ground, you peasant.
That's the end of that. That means that her and Jay will go to the dance together.
Yes.
That's the only really important thing. It's classic DCOM musical thing where at the big dance at the end, we got to pair up everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
And actually, good on our guy Doug. Little as it makes sense, Evie and Doug have been like paired up and they like hold hands.
I wish I was Doug.
At this moment, Doug comes in and is like, Evie, where were you? Because I think somebody had lied to him that we're camping or something. You went camping without me? And she's like, nah, we had to like save Ben from the Isle of the Lost.
Save Ben.
The important thing here, though, is that Doug drops that Happy, the dwarf, also is fucked. And apparently has a son who is not very happy
I think they mentioned like Bashful or another one earlier. Uncle Bashful or something.
Yeah, I missed some of it. In IMDb trivia, it said that it's implied that all of the dwarves have children, which is like, this is somebody's thing.
Snow White is really working some...
It doesn't need to be Snow White, you weird pervert. Carlos asks Jane to the cotillion, and it's played off like she's planning it on her phone, and she's like, oh yeah, and she doesn't get that he's asking her to go on it as like a date.
Like him said it like 3 or 4 times. I want to take you to the dance. She's like, oh, you do?
And then she
They're
agrees.
paired up. Everybody's
she's
paired
so
up.
happy.
Everybody's paired up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a perfect movie.
Perfect.
And the party, it's on a yacht, which is maybe poor planning. And they got a DJ playing some of the worst techno music you've ever heard.
Yeah, it is pretty bad. Pretty bad music. We see everybody except Ben, right?
Well, not everybody, because Mal is introduced by a
yes.
character we guess is the human version of Lumiere.
Kind of has the accent.
Because I think he also
wearing
maybe
gold.
announces the king and queen. Yeah, and he's French. And if there's no other French people in this movie,
man.
he's got to be, even though technically Belle and Beast are both French, they just don't speak with accents.
No, they don't.
So then Mal comes out. She's got her purple hair, but she has not the purple dress yet, actually.
Oh.
She's got a dress that we had seen earlier. Does not go well with her purple hair.
No.
And then they announce Ben, and everybody's like happy.
Oh, because her dress is the blue and gold, right? To fit the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's further to be like, oh, she doesn't fit in. So
Yeah.
it looking bad with her purple hair may be purposeful on the art director's end. But right after Ben comes out, they also announce Lady Uma.
Ugh.
And then she comes down and everybody's stunned.
See,
this is where, like...
She no longer has her cool, long pirate dreads. She has... I don't know. She looks fancy.
They're just put up in a nice hairstyle.
She does look fancy now.
She's got a dress. Yeah, she's not dressed like a pirate.
She's acting nice. She's very nice.
And he kisses her hand, and it's got the ring
Yeah.
that Mal had given back to Ben.
I mean, she shouldn't have given it back. Am I right?
In this movie, kind of gets at it, but it's like they're trying to do Ariel and Ursula kind of thing from Little Mermaid.
Yes.
But they don't really show it. They just show like the end result, and then it's like, well, this is kind of what's happening. It's like, show her use the spell book. Show her use a spell on Ben. Like, add some drama.
Time has passed here since that book dropped, and like you said, they didn't make a big deal, but they just show the book on the ground. We didn't even see her drop it. It's just laying on the ground.
We don't even see her have the book.
No.
Or yeah, it comes up somewhere, but the characters put it together because they're like, Ben seems like he's under a spell.
Yeah.
And Mal's like heartbroken now, even though she's like, oh, I haven't said I love Ben.
Yeah. And then Ben's like all happy with Uma, like, oh, Mal, you didn't tell him you loved me because you knew you weren't my one true love, and Uma is my one true love. We just had
such a good time in the Isle of the Lost.
Yeah.
But then they reveal the stained glass window.
Yes.
And Mal is moved because it shows her with purple hair.
Yes.
So that Ben really saw the real her. And it's like, well, bitch, you had purple hair the whole first movie. And then Ben seems to be affected by the stained glass window, too.
Yes. It's like the spell is maybe breaking.
But then Uma's like, fucking say it.
They get pissed. Uma starts yelling at Lumiere, cover that thing up. And he says, I will not cover it up.
And it's like, well, why did you introduce her?
And then she says, Ben, you tell them. I have an announcement to make. Uma is my one true love.
And he's going to bring down the barrier to the Isle of the Lost.
Yes, and then Uma's yelling at him to tell Fairy Godmother to do it now, and she's like, I will not, Benjamin. And then Mal and everybody.
Jacob's like, why would they listen to him? Like, because he's the king now.
Yeah, he is the
future king.
Yeah. So Mal and everybody else is getting, like, upset, obviously. So
it's like, we know our characters. We know there's good villains. So then it's even weirder because there's stuff with like Evie seeing like sad street urchins on the Isle of the Lost, and she's like, here, you can steal my wallet. But they're still like, we can't let these fuckers off the island. They deserve to stay there.
So they leave, or they start to leave, I suppose, and
Mal confesses her love to him.
Yes, she kisses him.
Well, she says, I couldn't say I loved you because I didn't think I was good enough or whatever.
Yes, I'm willing good enough
She kisses him. It doesn't seem particularly like a special kiss, but apparently it was a magical kiss of true love.
It breaks the spell. And Uma is upsetty spaghetti.
And she jumps overboard.
Literally, she goes to the thing and everybody thinks she's just going to just off herself. And she jumps in the water. We see her splash, and then we see water start to swirl.
Like Ursula at
she
the
gets
end of
very
Little Mermaid,
large
but
in the water.
This is the first time we see Uma with tentacles. And yeah, it's weird for her to be like human form from the top up, and now like the scaling next to like the boat
when they cut back and forth, it looks very goofy. She is supposed to be very large. They do show her very large in the water, but then when they show her and the boat, she's very small in the water.
And it gets worse when Mal turns into a dragon.
Mal just turns into Maleficent's
possibly the same asset for the dragon used in the first movie.
But I do think that the dragon looks cool. It does look hokey at times, but like you said, with the size comparison.
Well, it gets the worst when We thought Ben was going to turn into a beast.
No.
Because he roars.
He does roar, and that was like, oh no.
But then he just dives into the water. So then they have to contend with like 3 or 4 different scales of size.
A large... Scales are way off. I do think that Uma looks cool in this form with like the tentacles. I think it looks okay for a Disney Channel original movie. I do like the dragon in this Disney Channel original movie. The scale's off. And then
Let the record show I like the dragon.
They do battle, though, yes. There's like fire being spit at one another before Ben jumps in. They're shooting fire. They're splashing water. And then Uma makes a joke to Ben, or I don't know, like, what are you going to do, splash me, Ben? He's like, no, we need to listen to one another.
Yeah, he just talks.
We need to love. We need to love and respect another's differences, and we need to get along.
And he's like, Mal's good here in Oregon.
Yes.
You're good on the Isle of the Lost. That's where you belong.
Stay in your hole.
And maybe it was, I know I wasn't paying the closest attention. But then, like, Uma's like, okay, see ya.
Basically, she gives him the ring.
Swims off.
Literally, she gives Ben the ring. She starts to cry, I think. She just feels bad.
The ring is the appropriate size, though. It's not a giant
It's not very large. She gives Ben the ring, and then she swims off. And Ben climbs aboard, and then the dragon lands, and Mal has a different...
And Mal's like, guess I can do that now.
Yeah, she's smoking, literally on fire.
And she's smoking. She's got a nice purple dress now.
And yes, the dress is formed because of magic or whatever.
And then there's some chat and be like, oh, we're all so happy. And then Evie gives Ben a list of the good villains, being like, hey.
Yeah.
First at the top is Dizzy.
Dizzy.
But there's some other... Actually, you know what? There's maybe more than one good villain. It's like, oh my god. The morals of this is so bad.
Yeah.
And then Mal decides to give Maleficent's
the spell book to the fairy godmother.
Yeah, to then house within the magical museum that we saw in the first movie. And then we get a fun final song called You and Me.
And this was like another pretty long song, I would say.
Well, it's the last one. And it starts with Ben and Mal, but then it includes everybody
like 60
coupled
people.
up, and then lots of...
Really great choreography.
So the big thing is, because of Uma's attack, the yacht now has about like 4 or 5 inches of water on the deck. And this fully happens in the water. People are kicking, splashing the water.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a great choreography scene. The dances. There's people breakdancing in the water. I don't know how. I imagine this took like a lot of takes.
And it was probably miserable to film.
Yeah. I mean, unless they had like warmer water, maybe. I don't know.
Even then.
Yeah, that would have been kind of...
I don't want to just be wet the whole time.
Yeah.
And then have to do shit.
Water is not good. Water is tough to perform in. You get like hypothermia and stuff if you have to do it a lot.
Well, yeah, I don't think this is the Titanic filming or anything. And then hard cut after like, the song was pretty good too. Again, the worst techno you've ever heard.
It's really
for
bad.
The dance to continue.
And then the fireworks in the background, you loved them, Lucas.
Yeah, those
pretty hokey.
No, they would look great. I don't know what you're talking about.
But no, I like this dance scene. The song, not the techno stuff, but it was an okay ending. But is it over yet?
No. So
Dizzy, we see Dizzy get a letter.
Yep, the after credits. We see Dizzy get a summons from a very creepy guardsman who keeps smiling at her.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to go to a Dorian prep or whatever, you know.
And as they let her just like
read the whole thing.
Yeah, she reads the whole thing out loud.
It's like a minute.
Just glance through it and then scream. That's all we need. But she reads the whole thing and then screams. Again, economy, efficiency. Don't fuck with my time, Kenny Ortega. You're an old man. You're gonna die soon. You're wasting your time, wasting my time.
Oh my god. And then we get a few credits right before we get another scene, I think.
It might even be immediately afterwards.
Maybe it's right after.
So then Uma, still in octopus form, turns to the camera, calling back to Mal, turning to the camera at the end. There's birds on my air conditioner.
You didn't.
Get. And Uma says...
You didn't think this was the last of it, did ya?
Pretty much. Teasing a sequel that...
The third installment,
obviously isn't a surprise for us. Probably the teen girls at the time.
Like, oh my god.
Windows broke as there were screams across the country.
I wonder if there was a commercial at the end of the dance, and then, like, what if people didn't see it? Like, I bet there was a commercial after the techno music. And then they came back to this, and then
2017. We're deep into Marvel teases at the end of movies,
so people are kind of expecting it.
And there's also
there has been some
movie
before
that people probably were were watching a ton.
Even in Tangled, last movie we had kind of after credits scene.
That was the title of the movie, Tangled, kind of after credits scene. So that was Descendants 2.
Yeah.
Do Do you think these movies should have subtitles? Or do you think it's fine to just be Descendants 2, Descendants 3?
Yes.
There's the side series Descendants Wicked World, which is a cooler name than all of the movies.
I believe, yes. It should have more after. Descendants 2, Uma's Revenge. I don't know.
Not bad. Calls back to Revenge of Jafar or whatever the Aladdin direct-to-video sequel was.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think my feelings on this movie are fairly clear.
You didn't like it.
But I liked it more than the first movie.
The music is better. I like the songs. I like the costumes.
I think the first movie, there was maybe one or two songs
I don't remember
felt
liking
pretty
the
good
music
about
as
one,
much.
But they were still I only felt pretty good about them.
Chillin' Like a Villain might be my favorite DCOM song.
It's up there for me.
It is good.
That can be a discussion for another time.
Fair.
Favorite DCOM songs.
Okay.
Apparently this movie ranked high with the overall viewers of it, but it's a little weird to count it because
it showed it on multiple channels.
It was ABC, a lot of Disney-owned networks, which is interesting and shows that at least this movie was still a pretty big deal.
It was on Lifetime and ABC and all
Lifetime.
It was on Disney Channel, Disney XD, Freeform, all that stuff. 6 Disney-owned networks, yeah. And it was also premiered alongside a show that's about to get another season, 8 episodes, Raven's Home, which is on Disney+. It was premiered alongside this show, That's So Raven, Raven Simone. So, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting
my soul just left my body.
You don't you never got into
This room's getting hot. This episode's decent length already. We got stuff to go through. Jacob, any final thoughts? Let me guess. I like the sets. The effects were really cool.
That's what I said.
It could have used more magic.
Great.
I like the songs.
Yep. Yeah.
It made me feel
it's like
alive.
You're in my head. This, I'm curious to know, because this movie almost sold 1 million DVDs. I wonder how many High School Musical sold.
More.
Yes, well, absolutely more. A lot more. But I mean, still selling, it sold 837,000 DVDs, which is still
I don't care about the fucking physical sales of the Descendants movie.
But I mean, that seems decently high.
Sure, it's hot. I just killed a spider on this air conditioner.
Oh my. Lucas wants to wrap it up. We had a cold brew.
I'm not trying to wrap it up. I know we got more shit to go through.
We got a cold brew.
So, never remember. I don't fucking remember who we did in the first movie. Uma, she couldn't stop 9/11.
No, I guess there was the water nearby. Well, she wouldn't want to stop 9/11.
True. I guess. I don't know. Everybody in this movie seems fairly incompetent.
Could they have used the 3D printer, create something to stop 9/11?
Even though this 3D printer seemed to work faster than real 3D printers, still very slow.
They do still have the spell book and the magic wand, so could they not?
No, they gave it to the fairy godmother.
Oh, it's locked up.
I mean, I guess if they took a period of time during the course of this movie to travel back in time to then use the spell book, I guess they could have used it.
Yeah, I don't remember what we did in the first one. Yeah, they have magic. Maybe not.
My brain's melting.
Yes.
You can write us in again about, since The Descendants 1, that's our highest downloaded episode, I'm sure there's disagreements about the quality of those movies. If you're a fan of those movies, if you're not a fan of those movies, write us at awholenewpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts.
Let us know.
Now we will maybe quench some of our heat and thirst.
Let's do it.
With a whole new pop. So previously we had done the Sour Warhead sodas, but we thought we'll give a break if we do the next 2 of those to do something a little more interesting, because Jacob and I, as well as friend of the pod and runner of our Twitter account, which I forgot to plug in the last episode, AWNPod on Twitter.
Yeah.
Dustin, we went to what I call the Candy Barn.
It's Candy Barn.
The local tourist trap off of a busy highway.
About an hour away or so.
Where they claim to be the world's biggest candy store, puzzle shop, all this sort of stuff that I'm sure every state has something claiming to be like that.
It's fun. They have cool rooms, that are themed after, Marvel. They have a Harry Potter room.
As you would expect from, and this is all within...
Frozen room, Disney stuff.
A barn, or I think technically, I think they call it a Quonset or whatever. You'd expect, there's just Marvel shit in here, because that makes sense. There's some fun stuff in there, lots of
big
good
statues,
gummies.
Yeah,
I got a salted pecan roll.
Candies you wouldn't normally find at just the supermarket store. They have a handful of German candy or I don't know.
Yeah, they
Japanese
got like 8 different versions
stuff.
of Danish black licorice.
Different kinds of Kit Kats,
But they
like
also
weird,
have
really weird stuff.
a large selection of sodas.
Soda, yeah.
Some novelty, some normal. And we got Jacob to... Jacob's like, hey, Lucas, you get this. I'm like, motherfucker, you can spend $4 on something we do for the podcast. So we have Flying Cauldron Butterscotch Beer, non-alcoholic. So it's 100% natural. And
basically,
of course,
butterbeer.
It is, yeah, a legally distinct approximation of what we'll see if it tastes like butterbeer. Jacob has gone to Universal Studios.
Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Florida, and I'm a big fan of butterbeer.
Jacob's a big fan of Harry Potter.
Love it. Is the bottle still cold at least?
Mm-hmm.
Does it smell good? You
Smells
don't like
butterscotch.
You don't like. Okay, so you don't like butterscotch?
I don't know if I want a liquid butterscotch. Yeah, I don't know.
Should I sniff it? Oh, that smells strong. Should we taste it?
All right.
That's not bad.
It's fine.
I think it kind of does taste kind of similar, actually. It's been a couple of years, but
they also have different versions. Like, don't they have like frozen butterbeer?
Yes,
and stuff?
I got a lot of them, and frozen was my favorite. You can get it hot. And this is probably would have been sold as cold butterbeer. They have it in like soft serve.
In the books, Harry Potter books is served hot, I think, or they talk about it warming them inside because of like magic or whatever.
I think this tastes pretty good.
All right.
Yeah,
Jacob can get the remainder of this then. Be bouncing off the walls. Saying, I'm a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what?
So
I'm just Harry.
I guess that's a quick, uneventful.
Well, just Harry.
So we have another
wizard
soda that Jacob got on that trip that we can
do next
partake
time.
in next time maybe. So that's our whole new pop. You can then, as I mentioned, follow us on Twitter at AWNPod. YouTube.com/a whole new pod. Like, comment, and subscribe on there. Google, Apple Play, that's not a thing. Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify. Find us there, subscribe, review us. Like we have for a review this week.
A new review.
We have 5 stars from
Love that.
Bree Hull, title My Boy Jacob.
Wow.
This is interestingly in contrast to a review we read last time, which Jacob didn't necessarily think that he was the problematic one referenced in it. We would only know if that person wrote in to clarify for us, but Bree says, Jacob is my daddy and he ties my shoes on Sundays.
Wow.
Much love. Thank you for putting the time and effort into what you do. You love to see it. Heart.
Wow.
And you do love to see all of the work Jacob puts into this and what he does.
Oh.
I love to hear it. But thank you for the 5-star review.
Thanks for the review, Bree. Bree comes from...
so you know them by name?
Yeah, Bree comes from my live shows on TikTok. So shout out to the TikTok peeps out there.
What's your TikTok?
Jacob_Telejohn.
Jacob_Telejohn.
I believe it's the same as my Twitter account. So thanks to anybody that's coming over from TikTok, and leave a review if you have not yet.
And then for equivalent exchange, I will plug my Letterboxd account, fat_tomato, which I haven't really been too active on lately. I mean, I still write stuff and I just haven't done a ton of reviews. But you'll be able to see my up-to-date, of the moment ranking of all Disney Channel original movies.
Curious to see how many stars you gave this one. 2?
Yeah, probably. Maybe 2.5.
Ooh.
We'll see. But that is, again, Letterboxd. I don't know if it's / fat_tomato. If you search me on there, that's where you'll find me.
Check them out.
And yeah.
You plugged AWN Pod. We did our pop. We did reviews.
Yeah.
Subscribe, comment.
Getting to, quite honestly, and maybe I'll talk about it more next episode, the movie that kind of was...
What you were looking forward to,
was started the genesis of doing this podcast.
Wow.
Is that I learned about zombies, and I'm like, what the fuck are Disney Channel original movies? But we'll save that for now. But I'll leave you with a question to ponder in the meantime. What do you think Dopey's dick looks like?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What mic do you use? It sounds great.
I don't know. I've never had problems with